Well, thanks very much, Mr. President. Tony Burke, Unite the Union, moving motion 22 on pay and collective bargaining. Mr. President, Congress, soon after their general election victory, David Cameron announced he wanted to see a high-wage, low-tax, low-welfare society. And this was just another example of Orwellian doublespeak from the government, alongside such despicable practices as making up examples of people who were pleased to have their benefits sanctions and calling an increase in the national minimum wage for people over 25 years of age a national living wage. And we know that lower tax really means tax cuts for the very wealthy, the spivs and the speculators who make up just 1% of our population. And we know that lower welfare means siding through our benefit system. It doesn't mean an attack on the cause of poverty. It means launching an assault on those experiencing poverty. Such is the scale of this assault. They are now even in the process of removing a statutory duty to publish poverty figures and targets for poverty reduction. And this brings me to the call in the motion, President, on the higher wages. We know that higher wages don't just come from above, and the government knows that as well. Since the late 1970s, the law shackling trade unions in this country has tightened even further. Employment rights have been weakened, and collective bargaining at sector level or at company level has been dismantled in many instances. Inequality has grown, and the share of economic wealth going to people who created that wealth has continued to plunge. Wages for those in the middle and in the bottom have stagnated, while those at the top have soared away. Congress, we've spoken before about the need to reverse the real fall in wages that people have experienced because of this government's austerity packages. And as part of the campaigning Unite has been doing on austerity, we've been making the argument that better living standards and a more sustainable and productive economy involves decent work for all with wages that you can live on, not just survive on. And I mean survive. How many of our members have suffered real pay cuts, leaving them running out of money before the month is out? And part of winning higher wages is having strong trade unions backed up by strong collective bargaining. We know that British workers are amongst the least protected in Europe, and we know that we as trade unionists are now even more heavily regulated. But we know that we make a difference day out. We're winning pay increases, particularly where we're well organised and have continued to maintain collective bargaining, such as in manufacturing. And the government's own statistics show that trade union wage premium is of 8% in organised workplaces in the private sector. And we look at the difference made to individuals. The pay difference for women is a huge 30%. Now, the Chancellor of the Exchequer says he wants to rebalance the economy. Well, I've got news for you, George. Your plans are not working, and they won't work while ordinary people face poverty pay, precarious work, and with a government that's hell-bent on an assault on trade unions and working people. Your march of the makers is in reverse, and your rebalancing of the economy has all but been abandoned. Mr. Osborne, as Francis said, you will never, ever be the party of working people. It's not in your nature, and stop trying to kid us as you're doing at the moment. So I say to Osborne, if you want better productivity, then take a look at Germany and France, where collective bargaining works across all sectors and all workers benefit from it. And it is supported by government, and it's supported by the public as well. Conference, you've seen the work that our union did in the past couple of weeks in Pizza Express to get this terrible situation where people's tips were being taken off them. And you see the work that we did at Sports Direct to help people get decent pay and conditions. Just think about what our situation could be if we had collective bargaining across the board with fairer distribution of wealth. We've got to build strong unions in order to get that collective bargaining. So Congress, I say, support decent wages for all, support collective bargaining for all, support a fairer economy. I move.
Thank you, Tony.